Hello, my name is Harrison Watko. Welcome to our program. When we took a break, we were talking about the issues. Of course, the topic is Ako Bicol, the party list group, and basically what happened to this party list and why they have been disqualified. So we'll go through those issues that we took a break in. For example, bakit inunang Ako Bicol? Number two, bakit ginawang ehemplo ng commission, ng COMELEC ang Ako Bicol? And number two, do they even have the power to do this? I mean, these are the issues that were raised in the Senate, no less, this morning. And then the other issues, the spirit of the law and all the definitions. And let's also delve into why is it Congress, just like dynasties, have not defined all these minute details of what makes a party list. And of course, the best representative is the first nominee. We have Rodel Batocabe. Congressman, unahin natin yun. Bakit naman kayo talaga ang inuna? Baka, akala ko nga, yung first part do, sabi ko, baka may kinulang kayo, nag-default kayo. Hindi naman, mauna-una kayo. Sabi mo, you're top 10 in listing as far as performance pagdating sa legislatura. So, okay na yun. Baka naman di kayo nagbibigay.
You know, alam mo, I was...
Kailangan ba magbigay ang party list sa COMELEC para pumasa? I'm putting you in a spot. I'm doing it purposely.
Okay. Let me tell you this, Harry.
I'm being jaded. Go ahead.
Let me tell you this. I don't want to answer your question directly, but you know, let me tell you this. After we were disqualified by the COMELEC, you know, a lot of our party list members of the House of Representatives got worried about.
We read it in the paper.
Their status, of course, they felt that it was like torture for them.
So, tsaka every week, nakaupo na kayo, biro mo, di-disqualify. I can understand new groups coming in, hindi kina-qualify.
Yes.
But to disqualify those that have already been, that have the mandate, I found it a little weird.
That's right, that's right. Alam po ninyo, what happened is, yung mga iba pang mga party list congressmen or congresswomen, were tortured by this
Kasi every week,
decision of the
dandahan.
COMELEC. Every week, para bang sinasabi, pinipismil kami, pinupunta ka dun sa you know, sa Bitay.
Tama yun.
The next
Tama yun.
in line
Tama
for
yan.
the death penalty
Yeah.
is, you know, so
Tama yan.
you don't know when. So when is your
Is
when
this
will you be
politically motivated, do you think?
I don't want
Financially
to
motivated?
speculate on that, perhaps. But what I knew of is that a lot of my fellow congressmen went to lobby to the COMELEC because, you know, they wanted to know what's their
Pero
status of
I
their
heard him
party
on TV, I heard him on radio, linalaban, pinaninindigan po ni Chairman Brillantes eh. Ang laban niya nga sa inyo, bakit nandiyan ako Bicol? Ang dami naman district congressman dyan. Yun din ang irinirepresenta niya, Bicol din. Ano ba yan? Hindi na natin kailangan yan. Parang ganun ginawa sa inyo.
Okay, let me tell you this. Kung yan ang problema, hindi yun niya na naintindihan the philosophy behind the party.
Oh, as you explained
Yung
nga, the first
sinasabi ko,
part
the
of the show.
51% and the 49%. And then secondly, if that is the logic of the COMELEC, then all party list groups should be likewise be disqualified because all their programs, projects, pass through the districts. So, pareho din yan, pass the district congressmen. So, pangatlo, if that is also the logic, then all senators also.
Disqualify niya rin.
Disqualify din. Nandun din. So, the point here is, a party list, nandun sa Constitution. So,
yun na
nandun
nga.
sa Constitution. In like manner na ang senador, nandun din sa Constitution.
Kasi cross-sectional din yung senador, di ba? All across yan eh.
It cannot be said that you are duplicating the function of the district congressman because the creation of the party list system is different from the rationale for the creation of the district congressman.
So, his argument for regional representation, as far as your legal opinion is concerned, and as a congressman, is incorrect. It's erred.
Very incorrect, very flawed. You know why? The Constitution and the law itself, RA 7941, allow for regional political parties to participate in the party list election.
So, mali si
So,
Brillantes
regional
doon.
political parties. When you talk about regional political parties, you talk about geographical region. And that is also in the definition of the law. Dinefine ng law yung regional political party as parties which have chapters in a given region.
Given region.
Ang constituency in a given region. So, for example, ako Bicol, of course.
Bicol talaga.
Obvious talaga sa Bicol. So, we are a regional political party based in Bicol.
But there is nothing wrong with regional
there's
representation,
nothing
is what
wrong.
you're saying.
There's
Or else,
nothing wrong.
if they disqualify you, okay lang. Disqualify mo lahat na
Magsimula
regional.
na po tayo doon. Agbiag Timpuyog Ilocano, Abante Mindanao, Anak Mindanao, Anwaray.
Lahat na, ayan.
So, ang lahat na. So, what
And
we're
then mga
saying is,
senador din, kailangan disqualify mo.
disqualify na rin.
Kasi overrepresented na.
Overrepresented na. So, the point here is, they should have studied kung ano talaga ang rational or the spirit.
Baka
and
naman
intent of the law.
inaway mo si Chairman Brillantes.
Hindi ko nga.
Baka
Ang sabi
naman-
nga ni Chairman Brillantes Hari, we should be thankful pa daw kasi at least they disqualified us early so that we can appeal to the Supreme Court.
I heard that too.
And then at the same time, I also heard that, we disqualify Ako Bicol because they have the capacity to go to the Supreme Court. So in other words, para kaming ginawang test
Ehemplo.
case.
Test
It's
case talaga kayo.
It's like para kaming, an experiment. So everybody is waiting on our fate. Kasi what is hurting here, what is very painful, is the fact that we have our own constituents. The COMELEC accredited us in 2010.
May mandato ko eh.
That's right. And then, they did not even proclaim us outright in 2010. They even deferred our proclamation because there was a case filed against us. There were disqualification filed against us by the leftists. So, they have this resolution saying that, we will not proclaim you until you get a final judgment. Bilhin mo yun? Final
Pwede
judgment.
yun. Baliktad
So,
dapat.
final judgment.
Dapat honest until proven guilty.
Yes. So,
Baliktad.
So, we have to wait until nagkaroon sila ng final judgment. And you
So
know
you're
what?
proven guilty until you were
Yes,
honest.
yes.
Baliktad.
Yes,
Di
so-
ba mali sa batas yan?
We are under the mercy of the COMELEC. Yun na nga nangyari noon eh. So, we just waited for the COMELEC resolution. And at that time, the second division of the COMELEC defined what a underrepresented and marginalized political party is. Anong sinasabi nila? When you're an underrepresented, marginalized political party, is you are a small party that cannot field candidates from the president down to the councilors in
Which
the
you are.
municipalities. Yes.
Which you
and
are.
at the same time, you cannot also compete with the traditional big names in politics.
You're not a
the-
dynasty.
Yes, district election. Anyway, nobody heard about Batucabe.
Sige,
Sige,
So,
diba? Oh,
tama
nobody
yan,
heard
tama
about
yan.
Batucabe.
But, Congressman, I'm sure this has affected your work together with the other nominees that sit in Congress. As a sitting representative, nakakainis. And it's frustrating. Now, the work has doubled up because now you have to rationalize your condition, your being there, considering you already have the mandate. But bumaliktad na naman. Now, do you think the COMELEC has the right, the authority to do what it's doing?
Definitely, the COMELEC has no right. First of all, we form a legal team headed by a former Supreme Court Justice, a noted constitutionalist, UP professor, Yale graduate,
Wow.
Vicente
Academic.
Mendoza.
Oh,
Say,
of course.
Okay. Also my former teacher in constitutional law, and and his assistant. The team is headed also by Attorney Alfredo Molo, the third, a Bicolano, and at the same time a Harvard graduate, a professor of administrative law
Ang
and
galing,
and-
academic talaga.
and statutory construction in UP.
Oh.
So these are people who are really intellectually competent, who are experts in their field.
Constitution,
For
yes,
example, in
constitution
Constitution, I really hold Justice Mendoza in high regard. And at the same time, he doesn't usually handle cases. But when I went to him and asked for his help, and he said, "This is wrong. This is a grave injustice." And then he told me, "I will help you. And since you're my student," and then I asked him, "How much is your fee, sir?" "No, you don't have to pay. It's enough that you became a
Wow.
congressman, and you are a victim of injustice."
Wow,
So,
galing,
what are we fighting here for? We are fighting here for the 1.5 million voters who repose their trust in us, who put their sentiments, their aspiration in us, their hopes. For example, our scholars, the families of the scholars voted for us because they believe that we can give free education to their children. This will be their passport to a brighter future. So after this, it is not they who booted us from office, but it was the COMELEC who technically knocked us down. Wala nang walang kalaban-laban, pinatay ka na. It is just like, ikaw, may magulang ka, o mag-asawa, pinatay mo walang anak, that is okay. Di ba? Kung kami noong 2010, nag-a-apply kami ng accreditation, o hindi kami in-accredit nila, pinatay ka na, then that's fine because nobody will be affected. Ngayon, no, nung meron na kaming anak, marami na kaming mga anak, pinatay nila yung magulang. Ginawa nilang ulila yung mga anak.
Is there such a thing in your mind, an accredited party list of one election and then being discredited in the next because progressively yumaman? Yun ang sinasabi ni Chairman Brillantes. Tingin mo they have that power or that's incorrect also? They have erred again.
They have to show it. They have to show.
So prove it.
They have to prove it. They have to
The
show
burden
in their
of proof sa
decision.
kanila.
Yes, they have to show in their decision if there is a change in our structure, in the composition, or even in the nominees. They have to show us. And also they have to tell us, okay, we submit to them. We submitted to them our documents, okay? And then they have to tell us, what is our violation? What laws did we violate? And then ask us to answer or to show cause why we should not be delisted. But the problem is, we gave all the documents and then
dinilist kayo outright.
dinilist agad outright.
This is the first time this has happened in the history of the country, at least
Yes.
since the party list system since 1987 and slowly has evolved. This is the first time the COMELEC has flexed its muscle and said, kayo, sitting party list, out kayo, disqualified. Now, you don't think he has the power. It's incorrect. Will this be a test case with the Supreme Court? And do you have enough time before the end of December to overrule or at least to pacify the muscle flexing of the COMELEC?
You know, Ari, on a lighter note, when I'm down, my eldest son will tell me, Dad, it's okay. At least you'll be sikat because
Sikat ka na.
Nagi,
Sikat ka na.
you'll be sikat because this is the first time you'll be sitting party list will be disqualified. You know, I don't need that, kako. You know, the uncertainty of it all, you know, it's not worth it. But the point here is like this. We really believe in our Supreme Court. We still believe in our justice system, and I think the Supreme Court will be able to see the grave abuse of discretion by the COMELEC, the usurpation of powers by the COMELEC.
Let me give you another sensitive question. The executive branch of government, the President and his cabinet, are known to have a lot of representation from the leftist side, especially coming from the party list groups. Groups, not necessarily many, but a number of them, 1, 2, or 3. Obviously, they're already well in position. In fact, one specific one received 14, 15 million from the sister of the president, diba? Oo, and they said they had something like 112, which they said they submitted as far as their expenditure on the last election. This is being used. Do you think there is a bigger hand maneuvering on top of the COMELEC, which is why they pushed Ako Bicol and some other party lists out? Tingin mo politically motivated to, again, you know, not for anything, but the executive branch has taken over the judiciary, or at least flexed its muscles, and it won. I asked you the question earlier, although it's not our topic. Hawak ba ng executive ang Kongreso, the lower house? Ang sagot mo, when you have a popular president, it is only right that you have a weaker Congress because he is more popular to the people. I accepted the answer. I refuse to tackle that question now. But more of, do you think there's a bigger hand being played here?
With respect to our case, I don't think so.
So wala mo ng politiko ito?
It's more on the leftist tax, poisoning the minds of the public, poisoning the minds
So it's
of
a
the
media
COMELEC.
game, you think? Or
Yes,
is it
it's a
Brillantes?
It's a PR game. Brillantes would like to appease the people, you know, that the people wants blood, and then si Brillantes, okay, bigay na namin ang Ako Bicol. Would that appease you? Parang tayong yung si Poncio Pilate, Pontius Pilato.
Do you have enough PR on your side? You know, I don't hear you very much on radio, on TV. They don't write about it too much, except the fact that you have been disqualified together with many. For the first time, I hear all your points on TV, and I'm glad our viewers are hearing it for the first time. You need to come out and tell the people why mali naman to.
Yeah.
Do you think you're the underdog in the PR game?
I do think so because, you know, ang kalaban ho namin dito are the leftists. The leftists have been there. We're just here for about 3 years. The leftists have been since 2001. They're already in Congress, and they're trying to discredit us because our party, Ako Bicol, is the one getting their votes. Actually, before in Bicol, they have 400,000 votes. In the last
Kasi-
elections, they only have 35,000 votes.
Ang Bicolano kasi are known to vote Bicolano eh.
Yes.
They're known to be regional. They're unified with their region. They've always, it's like the Ilocanos. They vote among themselves for their area and for their people.
Yes.
The Bicolanos are known for this.
Yes. So what did they do? The leftists created another party, Aking Bicolnon, to fight us. See? So, but that's besides the point. Ang point ko dito, you were telling me about other leftist groups. Let's say, for example, kutsarain na natin, Akbayan.
Okay.
You know, Akbayan, let me tell you this. We
Maraming
are...
pera na yan eh.
Yes, maraming pera na yan. But,
Tsaka they're represented, no less in the executive.
you know, but the problem, Harry, that is the intention of the CONCOM, the Constitution, is to make these small parties strong and to participate in mainstream politics.
So, it's okay na kung akit
yes,
sila. Okay lang
yes,
sa'yo.
okay lang yun,
Okay
and
lang
then to
yun.
coalesce with other parties so,
So,
that
okay
they'll
rin
be
yun.
strong. Yes.
Okay.
So that they will be strong. So they'll be strong next time. Then they will not be susceptible of, turncoatism and everything.
Okay,
so
okay.
you are Akbayan, nandun ka, you're strong, you can coalesce
So you
with the
don't
ruling
fault them.
party.
You don't
Yes.
fault them.
Yes. And at the
You
same time,
celebrate their success.
yes, and at the same time, and I think, there's nothing wrong. If you report that the relatives of the president contributed to their coffers, because they're not
they believe in it.
breaking any law.
They're not.
Yes. So, meron tayong cap kung magkano ang igagastos mo sa election. So, it's within the cap ng election. So,
It is.
until and unless we amend na, okay, sasabihin natin sa mga party list, hanggang dito lang kayo gagastusin ninyo, then that's an issue. Pag sumobra ka dyan, that's an issue.
Wala namang batas na ganun eh.
Wala pong batas na gano'n. Kaya sinasabi, we have plenty of money. That's why we were able to wage a nationwide campaign. That's not true. Mas malaki pa pala yung akbayan sa amin eh. And at the same time,
Totoo nga naman. Sila
Diba?
na nagsabi yan, ano?
and at the same time, there's this irony. The COMELEC, before it accredits you, will require you a proof on your capacity to campaign nationwide.
Kasi magastos din, miski pa paano.
So, now, why will they equate now marginalized or underrepresented with
When they require you in the beginning.
financial capacity? See? They require you. So, when you just give only 500,000, then they might say, na hindi mo kaya,
Hindi mo kaya.
you cannot win an election. Of course.
Then at the same time, maglabas ka ng 10 million. Sobra yaman na kayo.
Sobrang yaman naman. So, saan tayo pupunta? Di ba? So, ang sinasabi nila, give us proof that you have a capacity to mount a nationwide campaign. So, of course, when we think noon na 500,000, baka sabihin that's not enough. So,
Sino ang kalaban niyo po ngayon, Congressman? Ang COMELEC or ang Supreme Court?
well, of course, the COMELEC, because we feel that the COMELEC acted beyond its jurisdiction, it has abused its powers, and as a matter of fact, it's defining
Nagle-legislate na sila.
Nag-legislate, defining the meaning of marginalized and underrepresented. In fact, it should be the functions of Congress.
Sa inyo yung power na yan.
Yes, and at the same time, they should also respect the Supreme Court decisions, because there are at least two party lists, APEC and OneCare, which have previous Supreme Court decisions upholding their qualifications.
At hindi nila sinundan.
Hindi nila sinunod yun, and then at the same time, without even saying what are the basis for their change of mind, or for reversing the decision of the Supreme Court, which they cannot do, because that is the Supreme Court.
As you well know, Congressman, it's fashionable now to not follow the Supreme Court, as we have seen in many, many examples in recent past.
Yes, but as a
It's
lawyer,
a political opinion.
yes, but as a lawyer, we are under the mercy of the Supreme Court, because that is your life and death.
No,
Pag
you
sinabi ng
work
Supreme
with
Court,
rule of law. Rule of law ka kasi bugado
Pag
ka.
sinabi ng Supreme Court, patay ka, so you can be disbarred. So, your only recourse is to kneel before the Supreme Court and ask
Kasi
for
absolute
forgiveness.
rule eh. Kaya
Yes.
nga Supreme Court,
That's
Supreme.
right.
And you
That's right.
respect that. So you
We
respect
respect-
rule of law.
Yes,
miski
the rule of
papaano.
law. As lawyers, sana, si Chairman Brillantes should have respected the rule of law.
We have only 5 minutes left, Congressman. I just want to ask just short little question. How do the congressmen feel about what's going on now in the party list? Never mind the party, but as a whole, yung mga nandoon.
As far as I'm concerned, as far as
Damper.
congressmen whom I know, they are very sympathetic to our plight, and They really,
Even the speaker.
the
He's
speaker
on your
also
side.
is on our side. But at the same time, of course, the COMELEC is a constitutional body. It's a separate, independent body. We have to defend because we are, as I've said, governed by the rule of law. So all of my co-congressmen are sympathetic, but at the same time also, as of now, technically, I'm a lame duck. Wala na eh. Because,
Naipit. Do you think political parties, not political parties, party list groups should submit to the COMELEC every 3 years as if they're applying for the first time? O hindi dapat? Dapat, pag qualified ka na, out ka na unless may ginawang mali or underperformed. But the burden of proof should be the COMELEC, not you.
yan nga ang pinaglalaban namin. That's what we're fighting for. You know, we don't even have to submit to the COMELEC our performance. You know, when you're already sitting in Congress, you have to submit every 3 years what you've done for the past 3 years in your
I find that silly.
among your constituents,
sorry,
among your sectors. That's right. So, you know, who is the COMELEC?
Kasi
It is not the office which put us in office.
correct. That's why it's the mandates. And two, that's an area strife for corruption. I hate to say it.
Yes.
Kasi you are at the mercy
Yes.
of the COMELEC. Naku,
Yes.
delikado COMELEC
Yeah,
dito.
yun nga ang ginagawa nila sa amin. Under the mercy, they don't want to let us go. So, tapos ka na, after 3 years, okay, report ka sa akin. Alika
yun
dito.
na.
Ay, mas
Opportunity for corruption yan.
Mukhang masama yata itong, mali yata ito. Pero,
Alam mo naman.
hindi naman ginagawa pa. Pero hindi sinasabi. In our
siyempre.
case, #1 party list with 3 seats,
Tinira
sa amin,
kagad kayo.
tinira kagad. Walang sinabi na, oy, may mali ka dito. Wala. So, yung mga hindi pumupunta, nagtakbuhan. Baka may mali din kami. Boss,
tama,
baka may
tama.
mali din
Congressman,
yung sinubmit namin. So,
We're at the top of the hour and we have to close the show, but I'd like to give you 1 minute to address our viewers. In Bicolano na lang.
Yes.
What
But,
would be your message to the viewers, especially the Bicolanos who would be listening, so that they will know your message, so they will keep the fight for Ako Bicol?
let me speak first in English.
Sige po.
The first time that I realized that I was a representative when the COMELEC issued the question resolution disqualifying us. The first time that I saw that I received the news, I was really shocked. I really don't know what to do. So, it was as if I was in a mental block. Di ko alam. But all the while, my phone kept on ringing, a lot of texts kept coming in, and then my phone hung. And then when I reached out for my phone and read all the texts, I realized what I was feeling is the same feeling of my constituents. They were worried, they were shocked, they were mad at the decision. So that was the time I really realized that is the real nature of a representative. Kung anong nafe-feel mo, yun din ang nafe-feel nila. Kung mas nasasaktan ka, nafe-feel nila, kaya ikaw pala ay tinatawag na representative. Kaya kapita po, Gabos, sa Bicol, ito pa masasabi ko, kamo po ang nagtataong kusog, nagtatao pong inspirasyon sa muya para labanan po ining desisyonan ni dahil kita mauntok, dahil kita mapundo, hanggang makakuha kita ng ustisya sa Korte Suprema. Magpangaji po kita sa mahal na Diyos, tuyang mahal na ina, natawan po kita ng ustisya, asin mapadagos po ang tabang kanaku Bicol. Ang sabi tangani, ang karautan, dahil matrayon po sa karahayan. Sabi ko baga, tatabunan ta ning karahayan ang karautan ng binarasa tuya. Tanganing sa masunod na eleksyon, pailing ta sa bilog na Pilipinas na ang Ako Bicol, ang sadiritang party list, magiging #1 manggiraray. Diyos mabalos, asin maray na banggisin do Gabos.
Thank you very much, Congressman.
Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you are. You heard the part of Ako Bicol. You've heard the arguments for, against the COMELEC. Either way, we're going to watch things as they unfold in the next 2 months. Interesting as it may be, a test case that it may be, the problem is it is not necessarily the representatives that suffer, but the people that have given the representatives their mandate, as well as having this representative to represent them. Is this correct? How many votes are we talking about? 1.5 million. Against what? 5 commissioners who think they're right and possibly above the law? Well, we don't know. I'm not siding with him or the COMELEC per se. But gee, either way, maybe it's good that this will be in the Supreme Court and have them arbitrate once and for all who is right and who is wrong, and whichever way it goes. Don't forget, beat the Supreme Court, beat the COMELEC. You're going against 1.5 million people who have given them the power, the authority, the mandate to be what they are. Well, that's our test case for this evening. Ako Bicol. Maybe we can ask them to come back and talk some more in the future before the elections come on, or as this blows up in the next month and a half, which it will. Thank you very much. We hope you've enjoyed our show. My name is Harrington Buatco. Until the next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
You are what you watch.